Hi, I'm Andrew. I am a recent American citizen. I immigrated from Canada about 10 years ago. I moved from Ontario to Seattle, Washington in 2001, and I recently became a U.S. citizen in July of 2012.
Congratulations.
Thanks. It feels good.
Yeah. It's a big step.
It is a big step. It was definitely a big step to kind of like feel like I was actually like a part of America.
Where you, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I know this about you, that you were born in Mississauga. Is that how you pronounce it? I can't do it.
Not quite. Oh, close. Close.
Okay, so that's in Ontario.
It's in Ontario. It's
okay.
like a suburb of Toronto.
Okay, cool. So, and then your parents are, I'm trying to remember, I know your mom is from England, correct?
Sort of. So she's actually an immigrant too, now that I say that.
Yeah.
So my grandparents on my mom's side are English. They lived in England. They were grown up, raised there, and lived there until I think they were probably around 30 or so, and then they had my uncle and my mom. My uncle is older than my mom, and then they moved in, I want to say like 1964, 1965. They immigrated from England to Canada.
Okay.
So.
And where in England are they from?
They're from a town called Widnes, which is like a small kind of city. I believe it's close to Manchester. I've never been to England though, so I'd love to go and see it. I've actually heard from some people that it's not actually very nice. So
I actually think my great-grandparents are from outside of Manchester.
I mean, it's like I think England must be one of those places where it's just like, it's so, like, there's a lot of people that live there, and like, there's like, if you're from one place, there's like a million people from that, so, I don't know.
So, okay, so your mother moved when she was how old?
I would say like 3, I would say.
Oh, okay, wow.
Yeah, so she was really young. So she basically, I don't know how many memories she has of living in England. Probably some very minor ones. But she grew up in Canada, I would say. And then my aunt, my mom's younger sister, was born in Canada.
Okay, so I don't really fully understand this. Now, Canada is a protectorate of England, right? So, like, you can travel back and forth with a Canadian passport, like, no problem kind of thing, like...
Well, I mean, legally, I think that I don't know if I could technically stand by what I'm saying, but to my understanding, Canada is a Commonwealth country.
Okay.
And to my understanding is that as a Commonwealth country, you could travel on a Canadian passport to a lot of other Commonwealth countries, and it would be fairly easy for you to do so.
Okay, so...
But Canada is an independent country. Okay,
so that's like... so, like, for your mother to immigrate, did they have, like, a difficult how is that... Do you know how that process works? Like, is it like a...
I feel like it would be fairly easy to immigrate from England to a Commonwealth country like that. Canada, I think, at the time in 1960 whatever, would probably have been easier than it is today. I feel like that would be the case, but again, I'm not really sure. I believe that there was again, I could be wrong, but I believe that Canada became its own sort of country in 1867.
Okay.
Was when Canada became like it was like confederation, basically, was what it's called. But there's always been very close ties. You know, the Queen is still technically the head. It's on the money. It's technically the head of the government and has a representative in the Canadian Parliament called the Governor General. But not, I mean, probably like much less influence than she even has in England, which is minor now. So it's like Parliament is truly the system of governing, but culturally as well as government ties are really close, and I feel like it would be fairly easy. I think I can even get a British passport.
Oh wow!
Because my mother is an English. Because she could get I think she could apply for an English passport, and because she's my mom, I could then therefore get a British passport.
Okay.
So.
Oh wow! So that's Wow, that would probably open up a whole bunch of new doors.
Which would be great, because that would be, I mean, like, we've even talked about that, you know, if we ever wanted to move to Europe or something, you know, like, maybe we could explore that, you know, or live in England or something, which would be cool.
Yeah.
You know? That would be very cool, and, you know, something that I've always really liked is traveling, so I think traveling is something that I really like to do, so I think exploring that, I've never been to Europe, so I think I'd like to do that.
Okay, so you mentioned this because you recently went to Iceland. Now, okay, so in the past, you, because you're only a recent citizen, so you've recently, that was what, July 2012?
2012.
Yeah, that's right. So that's like not even a year. That's like...
It's
like 7 or 8 months.
7 or 8
I
months,
can't do the math.
Yeah, it's December and June, so just like 7 months.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, okay, so in the past, traveling back and forth, either even just to Canada or if you've been anywhere else, like having a Canadian passport. Plus, I remember when I first met you, you lost your green card. And that, like, just in general, traveling back and forth, like, I mean, I don't even have a passport. I've never traveled abroad. I've never done anything. Yeah, I've never done anything.
Well,
so
it's definitely an interesting experience.
Yeah.
Really, though, only regarding the United States. Like, again, I've only ever traveled between Canada and the United States.
Oh, okay. And besides this one time with Iceland.
And exactly with Iceland, but that was on an American passport, which is different. Yeah. Traveling on a foreign passport to and from America is a really interesting experience because you get asked a lot of questions. People are very not nice to you. No, I mean, wow. It's a hardcore. I mean, I remember when we were first coming to the States, when we were first traveling to the States to look at houses. You know. Yeah. Wow, years ago at this point.
So that means when you guys came to look at houses, it was your entire family? Because there's 5 of you all together.
We were still pretty young. Yeah, it was my brother and my sister and I and my parents. And I think we came to Seattle to kind of just check it out. I think, like, my parents had made the decision that we were going to, like, my dad had a job and they were going to relocate him out there. Because my dad had worked at a university as, like, a professor. But then he took a job with a biotech company in Seattle. So they were going to fly him out there, but we were going to go check it out as a family.
Because it's a process. All 5 of you young kids, you know. Like,
yeah, so, like, it was definitely, so my parents wanted to, like, look at houses and like, look at different areas of Seattle where they wanted to look. And, they wanted to go check out, like, schools and stuff, too. So, we went to Seattle. And I remember we were, like, going... You know, my parents, you know, they were, like, nervous people or whatever, so they were, like, telling us, you know, like, oh, we're gonna go fly in the airport now, but, like, you can't say, you know, you can't make, like, jokes about